GWATA TV gives you a first look at North Central Washington's business news. You'll hear from our local business, tech, and education companies as Jenny discusses hot topics and current events with some of the best innovators and pioneers in North Central Washington.
Hello, North Central Washington, and welcome to GWATA TV. I'm your host, Jenny Rojanasatian, and it is a pleasure to be with you today. On today's episode of GWATA TV, we're going to interview two different guests. First up, Heather Ostenson, one of the business partners of the Mercantile, Wenatchee's newest co-working space. And then after we touch base with Heather, we're going to bring on Gustavo Montoya, who is with AgTools, an innovative tech company based right here in North Central Washington. It's going to be a great episode, so come back after this commercial break. Welcome back to GWATA TV. I'm now on air with Heather Ostenson, one of the partners at the Mercantile. Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. Now, I get the chance to work with you along with the partners at the Mercantile because, of course, GWATA's office is there. But for those who have not been into the Mercantile yet, tell us a little bit about your space and what it's serving in the community, or who it's serving, I guess.
Sure. So Mercantile is a co-working space and also a business event space. And we basically built out our first phase, really catered to small business. I know Stacy had the opportunity to talk with Rick and Jeff while we were under construction, and they talked a bit about just our stats in Chelan County and how we have, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 85% of companies are less than 5 people, so very much small business. So our first phase, we really focused on trying to help accommodate small businesses. So we have a mix of private offices, with our largest really accommodating 6 people, all the way down to fixed desks, and then the flex space that's really geared for individuals.
And you have been open now for about 3 months?
Just starting our 3rd month, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And right off the get-go, 13 of the 14 offices filled up, right?
Yes, by the time we were at the end of our first month, we had, 13 filled. So we're at the point now where we just have one remaining, a 4-person office that remains. So. And
then now the flex desks have started to get filled in, and then of course the buzz of the event space as well.
Yeah.
So for individuals who maybe work at home, tell us a little bit about what a flex pass is and how they can use the Mercantile without maybe being a permanent tenant. What does that look like for someone who's working remote?
Sure. So we have a couple of different opportunities for folks to join us. We have a day pass, which quite literally is just joining us for a day in our flex space. And our flex space is in our Emporium room. We chose to name a few of our rooms after past lives of the building, and so the Emporium room is the space that you can see from the avenue, and it's a beautiful space, I think quite inspiring space, and that's the space that also doubles as our event space. So folks can join us for as little as a day, or they can join us full-time in that space. And what that is basically it changes every day. Your seat would change every day. It's just a first come, first serve. You can choose between our lounge area or our study area. And what that gets you also is, and I think most importantly, is connection with our community of members, as well as folks that are just dropping in. Part of the impetus for the day pass or the week pass was that we do have, we're just a block from our convention center, so we do have folks that we expect will join us when they're in town for conventions, or folks that are servicing local clientele. We have so much technology that's come into the valley and the ag industrial side over the last decade that, there are folks from all over the world that come to service that. So in the flex space, you might see those individuals along with our regular community members. You get access to all of our amenities as well. So,
and it's really changed the dynamic for downtown because Mela, which is our, of course, our favorite coffee shop across the street, had people overpouring trying to get in there with a laptop or to have a meeting.
Yeah.
And of course, was a great environment to get coffee and catch up, but maybe not to have a business meeting or to sit and do work. So now there's this professional environment across the street. And unlimited coffee, right? When they're inside the Mercantile. So you can get your coffee and have a professional meeting and then enjoy Mela for their great, I guess, retail services instead, right?
That's right. I mean, I think there's, we're so excited to be right across the street from Mela. And I think I've shared with people a number of times that, yes, we have great local rotating drip coffee, but if you want
when you want a coffee,
you want an espresso or want to go over to Mela and bring the coffee back and join us in the flex space or at your fixed desk or office. So
so we've laid the framework for kind of how that space works. What is the future of the Mercantile, and how do you see your business evolving now that you've gotten through the first couple months?
Yeah, well, one of our immediate focuses is on we've been onboarding to a co-working software, and what that's going to do for us is it will help us continue to connect with our members and connect our members with one another, which is just absolutely fabulous. We will also be looking at bringing on more programming. So you're starting to see us do more events where we can have more face-to-face interaction. I think that's one of the real key things we'll be focusing on in the next couple months, and it's one of the most exciting things for me to see what's happening as our members are meeting one another and interacting, because they're starting to use each other for services they need, which is great. I mean, that's part of what's really exciting about co-working, I think. So.
Well, as you alluded in the beginning, if 85% of our businesses are under 5 employees, they need B2B services.
Yes,
so
yeah.
to create an environment where they can make that connection. And I know you and the 3 other business partners have been really involved in community already. So you hosted a Young Professionals Night at the Mercantile. You've really graciously allowed GWATA's Tech Talk to be there. Yeah. So community can also come in and participate with you guys, right? By hosting their events on site and taking advantage of that front entrance space.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we would love to see and are encouraging is any sort of business-oriented event using that space. And because the Emporium Room is our home for our Flex Desk members, it's only available for events in the evenings and weekends. But we are really excited about people doing product launches and education, sharing their knowledge. That's exactly what we're hoping that space gets used for. And then we do have the bookable conference rooms as well. So right off the bat, we started seeing organizations using that for their board meetings, which is, absolutely perfect.
Yeah. So creating, really filling a need in many different areas, nonprofits, small businesses, and creating those connections. So congratulations on the opening and all of the incredible work. GWATA's benefited tremendously from the move into Mercantile, and we're excited to be part of this future ahead. If people want to learn more, can you describe again where you're located and where they might find more information?
Sure. So we are, our place is the historic Ellis Ford building in downtown Wenatchee. It's literally right in the heart of downtown, 14 North Wenatchee Avenue, across from Cafe Mela.
Yes.
And then online, you can find us at mercantilewenatchee.com, and we do have Facebook and Instagram presences as well.
Perfect. Well, check out the Mercantile. Come visit GWATA there. It's time to head to a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to feature one of the tenets of the Mercantile, AgTools. So thank you for being on air with us, Heather, and stay tuned. Welcome back to GWATA TV. We just had Heather Ostenson, one of the partners of the Mercantile, on air, and now we've brought Gustavo Montoya of AgTools and one of the tenants inside of the Mercantile. So
That's right.
Welcome to GWATA TV.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes. Now, I'd like to go into your background and, of course, also your companies. But since we've been on topic about the Mercantile, tell me, why did AgTools choose to rent an office at the Mercantile?
So that all came about as looking for a place that will connect us with the community. And at the same time, being a startup, we wanted to be more in an area where instead of making that commitment to a bigger office, a startup company, we figured, okay, let's start looking for some space. And the Mercantile just was the right place to be. It was a great timing.
Yes. I hear you on the startup piece. I mean, that's one of the advantages of Mercantile is they have office suites that can fit 1 to 2 people. They're not large, and so that keeps your costs a little bit lower while you're trying to grow.
Yes, and that was one of the other reasons why, because you could either take a desk if you are individual. For us, we wanted a little bit of an actual office, not too big because we don't know how much are we going to grow. For us, it's product development, and so we wanted to make sure that we could expand and scale and have desks as we go, and that it is a feature of the Mercantile that we could grow, or maybe.
Well, you're only going to scale forward.
Well, but so far it's been
right.
a good for positive, yeah. Very positive there.
Right. So, AgTools, you're a startup, but you've got a pretty rich background yourself. So, Gustavo, when did you move into the area?
So that happened in 2008.
Okay.
And so it's been almost 10 years plus. It was great. It was one of the industries that I've worked in the past with the publishing side. So it was with El Mundo, the Spanish newspaper that was founded 30 years ago by the Wenatchee world. So I was a client of El Mundo, and so coming from the background of my family, I'm originally from Colombia, South America. My parents were educators. We thought that El Mundo was a very good opportunity at that time. You know how the financial crisis would. And so we chatted with some of the owners and came to an agreement in 2008 and decided to start, running the paper at that time. I've been a technologist all my life, so this was a very, very new thing for me.
So going to publishing from technology.
It was, from 0 to 100 very quickly, yeah. But the former owners thought, you're the right kind of person to run this. So they saw something in the things that I have done in the past that kind of led into that opportunity for the family to run the El Mundo.
So ran El Mundo for many years, and now though you're working with AgTools, developing a new startup. So when did you come up with AgTools or get involved with a company? What was that origin story?
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because a lot of people know me in the community from El Mundo. So when they know that I'm running as the Chief Technology Officer for AgTools on a startup, they're saying, how does that work? I mean, publishing and technology is kind of a dislocation. But for 30 years, I've been actually in technology, and that has been my training since I was 16 and my passion. And so in 2010, my sister, the founder of the company AgTools, reached out to me and said, hey, listen, I need some solutions in technology for our team to grow in the products industry. She's been for 30 years in the industry. And I said, sure, I can help you with that. So that's the first touch to the ag industry through her side. And then in 2011, when I was visiting Mexico with my wife, she called me and said, hey, how far are you from Zamora, Michoacan? So I said, hey, Norma, how far are we from Zamora? Oh, about 10 minutes. I said, I need your help. I need you to go and meet with some of the growers. I can't leave now, so if you can speak on my behalf. And so I started doing that, and it was probably December, and learned quite a bit about the strawberry business.
Okay.
And I knew about, I didn't know that there were so many strawberry getting imported during that time. So that was my second connection to the ag industry. And since then, I've been very much connected with the supply chain, so to speak, and the ag industry and the specialty crop.
And AgTools is the solutions. You're trying to help farmers, right? You're trying to help farmers in the supply chain, and to minimize the food waste, to create efficiencies through data.
That is correct.
Right? So-
We learned quite a bit earlier, at least for me, because I came from the technology side into the ag industry. And we waste about 46 million tons of food just in the U.S.
Wow.
per year from the farmer to the distribution centers. That's not even beyond into the retail world and anything beyond.
So before it even hits a shelf,
it's already wasting quite a bit.
Okay.
And that happened, and we learned quite a bit from lack of information or inaccurate information, gaps throughout this food supply chain. The different stakeholders just don't have all that information. And that leads into maybe more of reactive instead of proactive decisions, and then into waste, financial loss at times. I recall very much in 2015, several shipments stranded, and so that's a huge loss. That's a $35,000 to $50,000 truck that could have been prevented. So learning those things throughout the supply chain, and at the end of the day, the farmers, which is the intended original very much mission for the tool, is still the one affected mostly on any decision throughout that food supply chain.
So what is the unique technology or product that AgTools is offering to farmers in order to start to address this issue with food waste and supply chain?
So we focus very much on the area of market information. So anything that has to do with placing that fruit or vegetable somewhere. And by providing that information ahead and in accurate real time, farmers or anybody that is representing farmers or working with farmers can make better decisions on the placement. For instance, if somebody on a strawberry side, and before we get into that, all that data
Okay.
is ingested on a daily basis. We collect about 100,000 records per day of 500 commodities from fruits, vegetables, herbs. And we put it in context for the farmers so they can see it quickly. They can see 20 years back in instant moments from their cell phone or desktop machine. No downloads required, no software installation required. And they can put in context their information because they are experts in their domain area, and use that information to make more empowered decisions that can save them money.
Okay.
And do better planning.
So walk me through a scenario with one of your strawberry farmers. What is the data points that they're looking at that helps them make those real world decisions?
Yes. So with AgTools, we identified over 67 variables that affect the farmer in making the many decisions logistically. And so one of them could be, I'm in Salinas, and I have a truck that can go, it's about $35,000 to $50,000, can go to LA, let's say at $24 a case. But also New York, as a terminal location, may pay $10 more for the same case. But do I risk my truck all the way to travel across the US and pay more if I get stranded on maybe a very favorable cold front and the weather, and then now my strawberries are at risk? I may be rejected and I lose the entire truck, and all that gets wasted. All the resources, the water, the resources on pre-planting, planting throughout that chain gets lost. So a better decision is to be maybe just earn less, but it's a much safer decision to send it to LA.
So at least they can start to identify the options better and use that data, like you said, to manage risk.
That's right.
Whether or not they're still going to send the truck across the country, or if they're going to go with more of a local distributor for that. Now,
and even market conditions.
Okay.
So that's also something that can happen, though. If I know that I'm shipping over to Atlanta, and then somebody, or I can look at the data and say, it's better to ship it to Boston. Maybe it's a footprint on that truck that is less in carbon footprint getting out, and it's actually more efficient, and I can get some tax deductions if I'm actually doing better logistical decisions for those.
So look at the environmental impact
yes.
of those decisions. Now, as we kind of framed up the beginning, AgTools is a startup. Your sister formed the company. You came on board as the Chief Technology Officer. What is the future ahead for AgTools? So what are you trying to build right now to take you to the next level?
So the product as it is, it's ready, has been released in October of 2018, last year. We have quite a roadmap. There are several products even behind that web application, from predictive analytics that we're working on. So our engineers work about 20-30% in developing new things on our roadmap. But we also, for instance, in an example for the Apple industry, in 2014, we had the port with a strike that slowed down everything shipping out. And the industry was highly affected. I mean, 60,000 jobs were in jeopardy when we couldn't take those products and send them out to the clients. But those decisions are made when they happen. That could have been prevented, or at least being alerted, and a strike would not happen right away. So part of the roadmap of some of the things that we're already doing and implementing is industry news for that particular commodity. So in the context of a packer house or a farmer, is that they can see ahead things that can be alerted about and make better decisions.
So you're building a lot of that expertise within AgTools through data collection to be the premier resource for kind of what's ahead. Okay.
Yes.
And you are in 2 locations, kind of headquartered in Wenatchee, or a strong footprint here?
Yeah, so what happened was that the company was actually funded or registered in Delaware as a corporation.
Okay.
It's headquartered in UC and Irvine, California.
Okay.
And so we chose Wenatchee because we have a very high potential of technology growth here. So we have data centers and technology as a technology hub here. All of the products all of the data that we have has to be on the cloud and available for easy access. And this is a great location. It also happens to be an ag concentration area. So for us, looking for engineers that really understand the ag industry is really key. And so all of our engineers have been connected to the ag industry in a way that they understand, and it makes it easier for our product development. The entire team is connected to the ag industry. We have not really outsourced our development, and that makes it very, very strong and much more comprehensive for the ag industry.
Right. Well, that's exciting that not only you're at the Mercantile, but you plan to really grow in North Central Washington as you develop this new company. So, of course, at GWATA, we wish you continued success, and we'll be cheering you on every step of the way. Unfortunately, we have to now head out to one final commercial break, but I want to thank Gustavo for being on air with us today. People can find you down at the Mercantile.
That's right, that's where we are.
Your office down there if they're interested in connecting, or online. And you guys have a website?
Yes, it's ag.tools or www.ag.tools.
Okay, perfect. So check out Gustavo's website online or visit him at the Mercantile, and hang on tight. We'll be right back after this commercial break. I want to thank you for joining me on air today for our episode of GWATA TV. If you missed any part of the segment, don't worry. You can check out this full episode online on the NCW Life channel, as well as all of our episodes from this season and our past 3. I hope you'll join us again next week here on GWATA TV.
Since 1999, GWATA has served as North Central Washington's Tech Alliance. As a 501c3, our mission is to bring people and technology resources together to create a thriving community. Through our work, we aim to inspire, engage, and connect.